another episode of the untold stories about courage, grit, determination and valour. This is your today's host Harleen Kaur. Today I would like to welcome the legendary, fearless Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni sir. He was awarded with PVSM, AVSM, Shaurya Chakra, Sena Medal and VSM. So I would like to welcome you once again. So you were awarded with Shaurya Chakra by the President of India. Would you like to share some details about the operation?
I was awarded Shaurya Chakra for first I was to be landed on Siachen on the 13th of April 1984, and that is where we have in occupation of Siachen at Belafondla, at Siala and at a place called Gyeongla. So the entire Siachen Glacier, which is about 76 kilometers long and is as wide between 2 to 5 kilometers wide, and runs along the Saltoro ridge line, the ranges, the Karakoram ranges, the Ladakh ranges, and that's where it is supposedly Pakistan was eyeing for it, because it would have otherwise joined Pakistan shaking hands with China, because the Shaksgam Valley was gifted by Pakistan to China, and this Siachen Glacier acts as a wedge between the two countries, both enemy countries of India, Pakistan and China. That's how it is, and for that operation I was awarded the Shaurya Chakra. That was in 1984.
What exactly happened on 13th of April?
13th of April 1984, when we chose that day for launching Operation Meghdoot, we were all to be equipped with mountaineering equipment which would sustain us at minus 50 degrees. So that was one. And the clothing was to be got from abroad. And the corps commander was there, Jan Hoon, who had gone abroad to buy the clothing, and it landed on the 12th of April 1984. So when it landed on the 12th of April 1984, we wore all of it to test how it would be on 12th evening, and 13th April 1984 in the morning at about 5:36 we were to launch. There were helicopters that came, and then we were put in the helicopters. There were two in each of the helicopters. I was to lead in the first helicopter with my radio operator Mandal, and the other helicopter had two more boys with that. One was Prakash and the other one was Ramesh, and these two were from my own battalion from Folkmore. So we took off, and then when we were approaching, we were to occupy Belafondla. And when we were to occupy Belafondla, the pilot, when he approached Belafondla, we had gone on a recce the previous day. It was all okay, clear day. It was clear also on the 13th of April in the morning. And he said, when we reached, he said, well, I can't land. I said, what do you mean you can't land? He said, no, I can't land. You'll have to jump from the helicopter. I said, okay, I will jump. That is not a problem. But how do I know that I won't sink into that snow? It's hard or soft, how would I know it? He said, what do you want me to do? I said, you hover low and I'll push. I had a small bag of atta with me. I said, I'll push that bag of atta from the top and we'll see how deep does that go in. If it doesn't go deep, if it's on the surface of it, I'll jump. There's no problem at all. So he said, okay. So we pushed that atta and it was on the top. I said, perfect, no problem. You hover low. I said, open the door and I'll jump off. And I said, so I jumped. But the other person who was with me was a radio operator. So he can't jump with his radio, So he was holding his radio set. I said, you stay put. The moment I jumped down from the helicopter, I gave a thumbs up to the pilot saying that, okay, no problem. Because what happens over there is that invariably there is because of the loose snow, it throws up the snow and the pilot can get blind because it will be all white and he'll have a whiteout condition. Then the pilot doesn't know how to fly out from there. So he saw that. Once I jumped, I conveyed him, then he landed. When he landed, then the second chap came out. And the second helicopter, which was hovering on top to see what is happening down below, when he saw that this helicopter landed and taken off, then he also came and landed over there. So the first initial operation was occupying Belafondla was done on the 13th of April 84. But since you've asked the 13th April 84, I'll just narrate a little incident after that, what happened. We were 30 of us, including the company commander, Major Sandhu, who had earned his VRC, Veer Chakra in 1971 operations. He was my company commander. I was the platoon commander. And we were in all 30 people who were to occupy. And all of us landed there. And the same helicopters were to be used for operations in Siala. When you say Belafondla and you say Siala, La means a pass. So That's the passes we were to occupy to prevent Pakistanis coming in from there. So we found that about 11 o'clock, the weather turned bad, extremely bad, blizzardous weather, unimaginable that how such clear in the morning, how the weather could have turned so bad, because we hadn't experienced this kind of a thing. So the operations for Siala got postponed and they were on a future date. So meanwhile, between the 13th, the weather cleared by the 17th of April. So from 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, we were all badly off. Now by about the 15th or 16th of April, this boy was in the second helicopter, Ramesh, he died. So when he died on the glacier, because of the, they call it the high altitude pulmonary edema, HAPO, water comes into the lungs. Now this boy had come with me in 83, so he knew how it is to. But then one of the things, these are some of the, so when he died, and we were told very clearly that we will not open our radio sets for 5 days. So we were self-contained for 5 days, not open, because invariably if you open the radio set, the enemy will come to know, because it's like, it's all out in the air. So sure enough, Pakistanis didn't know that we had come and occupied it. But then since this boy died, so we had to open the radio set to tell that one of our boys no more. And on the 13th when we landed, Mandal, who was my radio operator, he was evacuated by the third sortie because he developed high altitude sickness. So he was evacuated, and now this boy is no more. So we opened the radio set and informed them. And the moment we opened the radio set, surprisingly, I was walking up to a Bella Fondla and we were dropped behind Bella Fondla. We find the Pakistani helicopter right in front of me and I could see the pilot. The pilot's eye and my eye, we just looked at each other like, he saw me, I saw him. So he turned because he saw, these Indians have already come and occupied. हम तो रेकी करने के लिए आए थे, देखने के लिए क्या हो रहा है, ये तो इन्होंने पकड़ लिया. So he went back. So when he went back on the 17th, this boy, of course, who had passed away, he was taken in the helicopter and the last rites then had to be done for him. And after this, then of course it was all known to the Pakistanis that the Indians have occupied Bella Fondla, the Indians have occupied Siala, and Musharraf was racing and wanting to occupy all that field, and that was where we stand till today, that the entire glacier is in our custody, as much as the entire Saltoro Ridge is in our custody.
Why 13th April was deliberately chosen for operation?
The Pakistanis were attempting to launch their operations. If you read the book by Musharraf, In the Line of Fire, he writes very clearly that India preempted them. The Pakistanis were intending to launch their operations on the 1st of May 1984. So invariably those operations or long range patrollings, as what would be termed as, were launched sometime around July, August. So because that's the only time when we can actually be able to be there, because Siachen Glacier means absolutely cold, absolutely cold. It goes to minus 50 degrees centigrade during winters, and blizzardous winds speeds are about 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. You can't see nothing. It's very, very difficult. The heights are beyond 18,000 feet. So obviously Pakistan thought that they would preempt us by coming there on the 1st of May. But probably not that we knew of the particular date that they would be coming on. But then the commanders took a decision that 13th April is an auspicious day. It's Baisakhi, it's New Year for India, and therefore we should launch our operations on 13th of April. So much that most people would think unlucky day, but it actually turned out unlucky for Pakistan. And I must tell you, I owe it to my men. My men from my battalion, from Fort Kumau that I come from, the Ladakh Scout boys, were there. Excellent men. You couldn't have asked for better men and better people to serve the nation. And something that as a youngster at that stage, when I saw these men so motivated, so dedicated, so wonderful, I said, मेरा तो काम ही हल्का हो गया है, इतने अच्छे लोग सब आसपास हैं, मेरे को क्या करना है, कुछ नहीं करना है. And कभी भी, never ever, they told me कि मैं कर नहीं सकता. They would always tell me कि आप बताओ क्या करना है. अरे बाप रे. What next? So you are motivated when you see these kind of people you are surrounded with, such lovely, die-hard people, very nationalistic, very patriotic, and willing to put in their best, not worried about death. Death didn't bother them at all. And so it rubs onto you, you know. When you have such kind of subordinates, it rubs onto you, and you also feel that you must put in your best.
हो मेरा रोम रोम तेरा कर्जदार है, हमारी ये आजादी तेरी कर्जदार है। शुक्रिया 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 हो शुक्रिया।